why is it necessary to deny to the press the freedom to criticize?
Of course, this is one of those allegations without basis. All we have done is, at the beginning of martial law, we imposed a ban on the publications, because the publications were used by the rebels, by the rebellion. Publications, all media for that matter, was controlled from September up to December of 1972. After that, we lifted everything. Anybody could write any story, and they, the publishers, television owners and networks and producers organized their own media council without the participation of government. Now, the Secretary of Public Information, originally a member of the Media Council, was asked to withdraw by me, and for that matter, the participation of anybody in government was terminated. And we left it to the owners of media, or those who were in media, publishers, producers, to organize themselves and to work out what they thought was necessary for media. To say that we are prohibiting any criticism is ridiculous. There's no such ban. In fact, we are criticized. I am criticized, and I accept it as a part of our growth. I grew up in the rough and tumble of politics and of trial law, and I am not that sensitive. I know, and I listen to criticism. If the criticism is well-based, I take action.
Well, what about the criticism of, using your figures, that there are 1,400 people in jail who have been there in some cases for 3 or 4 years, who have not been brought to trial?
No. There were 3,000 who were in jail. I released the 3,000. Then subsequent to this, the incidents in crime increased. Correspondingly, there were increases in arrests, but not for political action, but for violation of the criminal code. As far as we are concerned, and I would like to maintain this, we have not jailed anyone for political beliefs or political faith, especially the oppositionists. The oppositionists are still active here in the country. They have questioned my actuations openly. They've gone to court. Every act that I have taken, this referendum that I am calling for the presidency on December 17th, it's now before the Supreme Court. The opposition has raised it to our Supreme Court. If it were true that I am curtailing criticism here, then that would be the first thing to do, stop all of these actions in the Supreme Court, because that has become a harassment.
Well, are you saying, Mr. President, that there are not people in jail now who have not been tried, who are there
against whom there are no charges? No, I beg your pardon. Against whom there are no charges, formal charges. I have an order which is being complied with, to the effect that no one should be arrested unless he commits a crime in the presence of the arresting officer or man, because we have civilian arrest here, traditionally from time immemorial, unless there is two sworn statements about the commission of a crime. And immediately after arrest, he must go before an inquest officer and bring the accused, the arrested individual.
Well, under martial law, would it be a crime to challenge the legitimacy of your government?
No. They have gone and done it. They have challenged it. They have challenged it in elections or referenda conducted, elections for the Batasan Bayan. There is a statement to the effect that there are no elections in the Philippines. That's not quite true. We elected the members of the Legislative Council. And the contests about legitimacy of my government was an issue that was raised in the Supreme Court, not just once, but repeatedly. They questioned the proclamation of martial law. They questioned the legitimacy of the entire government. They questioned the constitutionality of my actions, everything, even the expenditure of public funds. These have been raised to the Supreme Court.
Would you say that there is, in any sense, a comparable, the crisis of the Third Republic in France and the crisis of your antecedent government? That is to say, when de Gaulle came to power, he came in with a new constitution that allowed him to suspend the legislature.
Except that, yes, it is true, except that in my case, the Constitution already provided for martial law authority. Constitution, under the 1935 Constitution, under the 1935 decisions of the Constitutional Convention, provided, in case of invasion, insurrection, rebellion, or imminent danger thereof, and the public safety requires it, the President may suspend the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus or proclaim martial law throughout the Philippines or any part thereof. This existed then, and I employed it. I had utilized first suspension of the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus after I used the armed forces. They were unavailing. And since they were inadequate to meet the crisis, I had to proclaim martial law. I asked Congress to do it, and they said, we don't have the power to proclaim martial law. I asked the courts to intervene, and the court said, we don't have the power. The power is in your hands. You assume the responsibility because you're president. So that was it.
Thank you very much, President Ferdinand Marcos, of the
Thank you.
Philippines.